Manipulating people with your health is the ultimate form of emotional abuse. It's a cruel game of control designed to trap you with guilt and fear. But here's the thing about a lie: no matter how elaborate, it eventually falls apart. And sometimes it gets caught in the most spectacular way possible because cameras don't lie. I met a woman named Julie at a pharmacy. She was picking up a prescription and we just started talking. She looked exhausted and she told me this unbelievable story about her mother-in-law. Every single time Julie and her husband Mark even mentioned moving out, his mother would suddenly have a major health crisis. It was always something dramatic, something terrifying. Chest pains, dizzy spells, and her go-to move, a stroke. The doctors could never find anything physically wrong. They'd run tests, scans, everything, and always come up empty. They'd gently suggest it might be stress or anxiety, but his mom would just cry and say they were calling her a liar. For years, this pattern held them hostage. Mark was racked with guilt. How could he leave his poor, sick mother? She'd call him multiple times a day, her voice weak and trembling, asking him to come over, to bring her food, to just sit with her because she was afraid. It was a constant state of emergency. Julie saw it for what it was, pure manipulation. But whenever she tried to bring it up, Mark would get defensive. He couldn't bear the thought that his own mother would lie about something so serious. It was tearing their marriage apart. Julie felt like she was in a prison, not a partnership. The gaslighting was intense. The mother-in-law would tell Mark things like, "If you leave, the stress will literally kill me. My death will be on your hands." She would conveniently collapse right when they were packing a box or looking at apartment listings online. She had an almost supernatural sense of timing. She'd then recover just enough to guilt-trip him, whispering, "See what you're doing to me?" It was a masterclass in emotional blackmail. Mark was trapped between the woman he loved and the mother he felt obligated to protect. He was drowning in it, and Julie was going down with him. Finally, Julie had enough. She knew that words wouldn't work. Mark needed to see the truth for himself. So, with a heavy heart, she bought a small, discreet security camera, a nanny cam. She told Mark it was to monitor his mom's safety while they were at work, just in case she had another episode. He agreed, thinking it was a great idea. They set it up in the corner of the living room, aimed at her favorite armchair where she spent her days paralyzed and recovering. They left for work, and Julie spent the day with a knot in her stomach. That evening, she sat Mark down. She told him she had something to show him, but that he needed to have an open mind. He was hesitant, but he agreed. She opened the app on her phone and played the footage from that afternoon. For the first hour, his mom sat in her chair just as they expected, occasionally sighing dramatically. But then she got a phone call. After she hung up, she stood up from the chair. Not shakily, not with a struggle, but with perfect ease. She stretched, did a little shimmy, and then the unbelievable happened. She turned on the radio and started dancing. Not just swaying, but full-on, energetic dancing around the living room. She was grooving, laughing to herself, moving with a freedom and energy they hadn't seen in years. The paralyzed woman was doing the twist. Mark's face went from confusion to shock to a deep, heartbreaking sadness. He just stared at the screen, silent. He replayed the clip 3 times. The proof was undeniable. The lie was exposed in full, glorious, dancing color. The years of guilt, the worry, the postponed dreams, it was all built on a foundation of deceit. That night, they packed a single bag. Mark walked over to his mother's house, showed her the video without saying a word, left his key on the table, and walked out. He didn't look back. It was the hardest thing he ever had to do, but it was also the first day of his freedom. They moved out that weekend and never spent another night under her roof. Breaking free from emotional manipulation is incredibly difficult, but seeing the truth, inarguable and on screen, gave them the strength they needed to finally live their own lives. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more.